On. Welcome everybody to the Engineering Committee meeting, January 17th at 4:30. This is the Engineering Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and please stand for the pledge. Ready to begin? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Roll call. Both directors are present. Approval of agenda. Is there any adjustments to the agenda? Motion to approve agenda.
A motion to approve.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, agenda is approved. Public comment. Under this item, any member of the public wishes to address the committee may. Is there anybody? We have one. Nobody online? Okay. So that will be the end of public comment. Approval of the minutes. Did you have any changes to the minutes?
No.
I did not.
No. I will motion to approve the minutes.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. This brings us to item number 4, which is the 10-year capital plan for the 2024-25 budget year. So who's leading us? George? Kim?
Yeah, I can lead. I could do that. What you have in front of you is the CIP table, the 10-year capital improvement plan. And the intent for this meeting is to kind of do an overview and do some minor adjustments on the 24-25 column there. I think it's at the February 7th meeting. We'll finish this off, refine it, and bring it to the first budget workshop. So we'll do an overview on each of the item numbers. I think we'll just kind of hit on what we have budgeted for this fiscal year. If you want to get into the other items, we can do that as well. But we'll start with the storage tanks at Reservoir 6A.
So this is the 24-25 budget.
That's correct.
In blue, it's the existing budget.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the one in blue is the existing, so I'm looking at mine is all highlighted in yellow for this fiscal year, so the 24-25 is what we're looking at.
Just for anybody who might be listening,
There we go.
because we have a highlighted one, but that's the existing one, so, okay.
First item on that we have budget for 2.7 million is the storage tank. That is that 1.5 million gallon tank up at the existing Reservoir 6A site. What we do have budgeted for this year is the planning. That's for the CEQA, the geotechnical and design. That's what we have budgeted for the 100,000 this year. Next year we have the 2.7 for the construction of that tank. Part of that is going to be funded through the federal funding appropriations. And as was seen, it might be pushed back into the 25-26 based on what the schedule that's been laid out for the EOC for our Civic Center. FEMA review on the NEPA is late August, early September. So that money won't be spent until they complete their review process of the NEPA. We're going to be doing the same process like we do now with our EOC. We will be doing the same process for the 1.5 million gallon tank. But for now, we'll keep that in the 24-25. The Civic Center, item 2. Construction.
Question.
Oh, God, please.
Sorry, my phone went off. You've got it asterisked, I guess, in blue, contingent on the federal funding of $2 million. So So the budget for the district would be 700,000.
That'd be their portion, yes.
Okay. So when you carry that down, do you carry it down to the bottom line, the 2 million?
That 3.7 includes the 2 million.
Okay, should it?
And I don't
If
know
it's
how
not
it works
district-
in finance.
If it's not district funds? That was my question. I had
Yeah.
it circled because I know it's contingent upon the 2 million, but if that's not in our district budget, how does that work?
That's the question to finance on how they want to manage that.
If I may, so these grants are typically reimbursement grants, and so we do want to carry it through because the district may pay for it and then get reimbursed at a later date. You know,
Okay, well, that was my question.
yeah,
because-
and so, you know, if for some reason we had to pay for all of it and then get reimbursed for all of it, we would pull it from reserves and then replenish the reserves when we get our payments from the feds. It's just, we don't know how it's going to be expended initially.
That's fine, that was my question, why we would carry it, and that explains it, at least until we have everything lined out, then we would know. So there might be a 2.7 million draw on a fund, but that would be reimbursable. Okay, that was a question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Kim and Jen are the professionals in all this FEMA funding appropriations.
Actually, this grant is going to go through HUD, not FEMA, so hopefully it's a better experience.
Yeah.
See, George,
Yes, I'm learning every day.
you're getting schooled as we
I learned what
work.
STI was today too, so. So we go on to item number 2 on the Civic Center. We have it, line item for 23-24, $8 million. Because of what we're experiencing now with the approval of the NEPA with FEMA, we're shifting those to the 8 million to 24-25 and the 500,000 to 25-26.
So we're going to move these two items over 1 year each?
That's correct, yes.
You must have spent some money in 23, 24.
Yes, we have.
So what would that amount be placed in there?
We could do that. We've done that in the past.
I mean,
where
is
we
there $1
actually put
million
actual costs.
that's spent, so 7 million would move forward, or
Well,
what?
not quite $1 million.
Well, I
spent, yeah.
just,
Well, we can do that. Well, we'll get the numbers and we'll shift that over.
okay. It should be shown.
Yeah.
Broken down.
Yeah, we've done that in the past where we got the actual numbers and shifted it over for real numbers when we get into the budget process.
Yeah, and I think mainly what we've spent now isn't construction related, it's professional services for design and all of that, and so that could go into that category.
Costs for permitting, all that,
Correct.
whatever portion of that for the enterprise fund would be into that column, and then whatever's left, I guess, gets shifted over to the next year. Okay. So then the blue line under that, item number 2, is going to show the changes also.
That's correct. Item 3, the master plans for reservoir. We don't have any changes there. It's all blank. Everything's been shifted out to 26, 27. Item 4, master plan pipelines. This is an item I would recommend pushing it out to 25, 26, along with the other 25, 26 to 26, 27, and onwards.
So
up to
move
28,
all
29.
4 of these items over 1 year?
That's correct.
And when I was reading this, it's when you say it's 500 feet of linear feet of 12-inch pipe, that's what you're replacing?
Where are you reading the 500
Or
feet?
well, let's say Sundown Road.
Okay.
It's
1,900 linear feet.
it's 1,900 feet of 8-inch, replace 6-inch, so I'm trying to,
Yeah, so we're
decipher that.
replacing the 6-inch with an 8-inch. So without getting into the model itself, and
Yeah, I
the
just,
benefits
I
of
just
leaving that
wanted the
6-inch.
nomenclature, I wanted to understand. You're replacing a 6-inch line with an 8-inch line.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's-
what's in
that's-
parentheses is proposed.
That's not clear there, it's not,
I
I
can
had
add
trouble
a-
deciphering all of those.
I can
Okay.
add a asterisk to that if you like.
Let's see, 1,900 linear feet of, there must be an easier way to say it here. 1,900 linear feet, 8-inch, replacing 6-inch, or just something like that. Or replaces 6-inch, comma, replaces 6-inch. That would be understandable.
Sure.
And so when it just says, for instance, P3, 9,500 linear feet, you're just swapping a 12-inch with a 12-inch?
That's a new install.
Huh?
A
That's
new
new
installation,
install.
yes.
Okay. Probably should put, well, I guess it's all new if it doesn't say replace.
Correct. So anything
That's an
parentheses is
assumption that we
proposed.
have to make, right?
Well, we'll clear that up. We'll do an asterisk and we'll clean that up a little bit. Yeah, so anything parentheses is proposed. And what it says replace is we're replacing.
Well, you could just, like, for P13 dash, new 1,300 linear feet of 8-inch,
We could do that
something
too.
like that.
We'll do them all.
So that when the board is looking at it,
Sure.
you know, it's a way that they don't have to ask you again what the heck this means, so. Appreciate it.
Sure, we could do that. Yeah, so that's the recommendation is to push
Yeah,
all
that's
those
fine.
over
I mean,
one year.
it's replacement pipe, so,
And the item 5, that's the water master plan pipeline. This is the 10-year, so that's, master plan kind of phased out the improvements through improvements now and improvements in the future. So they prioritize those. So those got pushed out into 2032 to 2042. So that's looking out to almost build out beyond anything in the near future when we talk about 10 years.
so the difference between 4 and 5 is the model?
The
The
recommendations.
model recommends items, or number 4, and then the master plan is a long-term number 5?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Smith and Springs, we always talk about this capture tank, construction of it. It's not in this coming budget for this coming fiscal year. It's kind of slated for 25, 26. Future number 7, that's the future expansion site. And this is, future expansion sites would be like potential future well location or a tank, a future tank. It's more so like a placeholder, but we anticipate purchasing property for well 17? Well 18.
In the next year?
Yeah. Yeah, we're planning for that in the next coming year. So we're targeting just north of the well 15. Is it well 15? Yeah, well 15, the newly constructed well 15.
Are you still incorporating the original pipeline study in those well selections? There was an
Part of the-
original alignment of bringing water up from the dairy?
It's not quite on the alignment.
No, not on it, but
That's the plan, is to extend further to the north.
still
on that.
using that original.
That design, yeah.
Okay.
Or the preliminary planning of moving water or bringing in water.
Yeah. Who's that? Egan did it, right?
IEC. We stopped at 50% on the chromium mitigation pipeline
Yeah.
design. That was with IEC. Brings us to item 8. There isn't a replacement. I guess there's nothing to budget anymore. I think we are close to being fully replaced with the old meters. So that line item could, for next year, could be crossed out, or this year.
I would just leave it on until, for this year, because money's going out.
Item 9, boosters, the booster replacement. Yeah, budgeted $135,000. I don't know if Sean was here, or maybe you can kind of share with us if it's an ongoing practice. And
Yeah, the booster replacement that we're looking at on item 9 at this point is more electrical panels, motor control centers. We're going to try to stay within that budgeted cost for each site. But with all the electrical failures we're seeing, we need to start upgrading our electrical systems.
So this is not the maintenance part of the budget, this is
No, this will be
above the
upgrades. Yeah.
the maintenance.
Item 10, the storage tank. That's the tank at well 2, tank 3. And that's for the proposed 500,000 gallon tank. Again, we have that stated for 2027. We have nothing budgeted for this fiscal year coming. The item 11, the urban water management plan. It's that time of year. It seems like we just completed it not too long ago. Now we're revisiting. We'll be looking at entertaining proposals from consultants to prepare the urban water management plan later in 2024, early 2025. And with item 12, that's the water master plan. We got another 5 years before we even look at revising, updating the water master plan. So that's over at 2028, 2029. So with that, this is just an overview. There could be some more changes.
So you're going to have to shift everything around
Yes.
that we've talked about.
And the next page is just the operation of vehicle equipment, field trucks. I think it's budgeted for one vehicle, 65,000.
One vehicle per year.
Isn't there a second sheet that has the
The repair
maintenance and repair?
Yes, that will come to the next committee meeting
Okay,
on February 7th,
okay.
February 6th, it's going to be
Oh.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, February 6th. Okay. I won't take the day off on the 6th.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have it to you at the next committee meeting. With that, there are no further questions.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
We're into public comment here now. Fire away.
These are informational, really. So I'm just curious on the pipeline upgrades. I'm just curious. 10 of these are replacing, or new or replacing much smaller pipes with 12-inch pipes. And I'm just wondering why the logic in the 12-inch pipes is we're anticipating growth in those areas, and so we're wanting more water to go through them, or I was just curious.
So the model identified fire flow, and
It's a fire flow thing?
It's a fire flow thing.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the cost would go on the developer. So if you have a commercial development in an area that needs fire flow, that developer would then pay for those improvements.
Okay.
To get that fire flow.
Okay.
That's just my experience, but it's part of the model. It's not something that I would support, but, we have to look at each and every project individually to see how it really benefits the district.
No, it's fine. I was just curious why the larger pipes, that's all.
Yeah.
The second question I had was regarding the the potential well site. I was just curious, the logic, you said that it's going to be relatively close to the current well 15,
When I say relatively close, would be within a mile.
a mile. So that's far enough that it doesn't affect the draw between the two wells?
We-
Again, informational, that's all.
Yeah, so we do have a cluster of wells, wells 10, 11, 12, that are within each other. They don't really impact on drawdown as much as one would expect. In some instances, it could be an impact. A mile apart.
Probably not.
Probably not,
Okay.
yeah. And if
Yeah,
you have a
that
hydrologist here,
Yeah, over 1,000 feet, and probably would, because that's the difference, remember I said, between a domestic and a municipal. We run these wells all summer long. For
Right.
months at a time.
Right.
without, if the demand is there to supply the people. The cones get pretty large when they're run for a long period of time.
Right.
So, but if they're over 1,000, 2,000 feet away, it might be a couple inches of
Okay.
interference, that's all.
Because I just knew that well 15 is the large. It produces a lot of water, so I would,
Yeah, 600-700 gallons a
yeah,
minute.
would hate to have that impacted.
No, I mean, if you're over 1,000 feet away, there wouldn't be.
That,
But you-
that's great. Good to know. Last question. Chris, you just mentioned something about electrical problems, and I was just curious what the sort of things that you guys are seeing are.
Well, we're just seeing issues with shutoffs or disconnects in panels, because a lot of these panels are 40, 50 years old.
Oh, it's
So
from
we just
older.
have to keep piecing them together to keep them going.
Gotcha.
So it's just new
It's
technology.
mainly older equipment.
It's older
that's-
equipment.
Cool.
It's stuff from the county, along with the little pipelines, too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so that will, I guess, do it for the improvement projects, and there'll be changes that'll be brought back to the next meeting. Anything else on that? Did you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, that brings us to item number 5, Oeste Recharge Study Project.
Sure, I'll give
Anything
you an
additional
update.
on that?
Yeah, I do have an update on that. At the December 14th Mojave Water Agency Board meeting, they approve awarding Adura, formerly IEC, the contract for $2.4 million on the design for the recharge basin and turnout on 3 locations, one being the Oeste Basin, for the amount not to exceed, well, the $2.4 million. They are moving forward with the design to be completed by August of 2024. And then they'll get into the construction of it soon after. I have nothing more to add to that, other than it's part of the judgment obligation for importing supplemental water. There were 4 that proposed on this project. David Evans was a local consultant in Victorville, TKE, and another, the Provost and Pritchard Consulting Group, and Ardura. And they range from 2.6 to 960,000 for services. So they based it on a scoring system, experience, cost, all that factored into a recommendation.
Wow,
that was
somebody
approved.
bid 960 and it went for 2.4?
Up to 2.6, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, it was interesting. That was internal, and they did the presentation at the meeting in December. And there was some just discussion and a buy-in on selecting Ardura. They're the ones that worked on our water master plan, worked with Sheep Creek Water and the consolidation potential with Phelan Piñon Hills. They've done the urban water management plan, so they have some familiarity with the location. Not to say that David Evans doesn't. They're in Victorville, and TKE, they're the engineers for Hesperia. But they scored high, and the recommendation was made because this was a PSA. They went based on scoring.
All right, thank you. Move to item 6. Are you done?
Yes, I'm done. Sorry.
Discussion regarding the water system.
All right, we'll start our pump and well contract. We have 3 boosters that are still awaiting general pumps completion. Installs on those 3 should be later this month or early February. Site 2, Booster C, is being upsized by 200 gallons per minute to accommodate the additional water from well 15. In our tank maintenance, we have 3 washouts completed. 1C1 is being washed out tomorrow, and there was 6 additional washouts scheduled through the end of March. Our water quality, all dead-end flushing has been completed. That was completed last week. 317 dead ends were flushed. Our service replacement program, we will resume scheduled replacements following the completion of the meter replacement program. We have replaced 5 services this calendar year, and those were typically due to leaks in asphalt or whatnot. There were 17 replacements for the fiscal year. Other updates, as of last Thursday, there was 383 meters remaining to replace for the meter replacement program. That puts us at 94.6% complete. The goal is to be complete by the end of February. Once meter replacements are completed, we will move on to our air vac maintenance program. Well 14 produced 8.27 acre feet, which totaled $9,254 in replacement costs. So that's what I have for updates. Any questions?
Did you have any questions? So you just replaced the bad leaks you put.
Yeah, there's ones, if, like today, with Johnson Road, we had a leak under Johnson's. Rather than do traffic just to repair the leak, we replaced the service.
Just replace the line?
Yeah, and there was 2 next to each other, so they both got replaced.
Yeah, and then once all the meters are installed, then you can get back to
We'll
your
get
other
back
stuff.
to our at least 150 a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you explain to me, since this is somewhat new, what the air vac maintenance and flushing program is that you'll be moving on to next?
We have air vacs all throughout the system to let air in or out of the lines, typically on high spots. Well, they don't really flow water, so they need to be cleaned out, flushed, and there are some that need to be replaced. So, and then they just get buried in dirt from people grading roads and that. So this allows to find them all, make sure they're all working properly. And if they're not, or there's issues, we can get them replaced so we don't have issues in the future.
Thank you.
And then the valve maintenance is just working the valve with our fancy machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, they're all over the place, and they get buried and lost, and
Yeah.
they have to be worked periodically. We try to do it I think it was a 2 or 3 year schedule, something
Yeah, it
like
was a
that.
3 or 4 year schedule
Yeah.
for the whole district.
Yeah, because there's thousands of them,
Yeah.
so. Try to find them and exercise them. Okay, anything else on the water system? I guess we'll get that on number 9. Smithson Springs update.
I don't have any updates right now.
Okay.
When we have fire crews available, we're going to try to get them up there to clean up the sites.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, any changes to, or updates for state regulations?
Not for this meeting.
No, nothing to update, okay. Review of current projects. How about an update on well 15? There's pictures of it flowing into our sump, but
Yeah, that picture was when we got our electrical completed. We had a generator running, but we did get the project, the well, everything is energized by Edison. That was completed last Friday afternoon.
also it's all powered up now.
So it's all powered up. We have run the well twice this week for back T samples. Hopefully we'll have those results by the end of the week, and those will be sent to the State Water Board. The operating permit is pending the back T samples. Like I said, all electrical, everything is completed on the well. The SCADA panel is the only item remaining, and that is scheduled for the end of the month install. And once that's installed and we have our permit, we'll be pumping in the system.
So when you're adding 500-600 gallons a minute to the system, have you run the model to see what happens there?
No, we haven't run the model to simulate what that. We do have a model for the extended period simulation that was done for the chromium-6 mitigation.
Yeah.
Part of our struggle is purchasing the software to run the model, or bringing on a consultant to prepare a report on it. To justify what that looks like for the district to spend the money on validating that, in my opinion, is something we'd have to entertain right now.
Don't need to deal with that.
Not
I
deal
just-
with it right now.
The reason why I asked was, you mentioned an upgrade to a booster
Booster C.
Yeah.
to deal with the water coming from the
That'll
new
allow us
well
to get
that
more water
needs
out
to
of
be
the site.
dispersed out into the system, so.
So what we did last year in the pre-planning for this, for I think it was 500 GPMs, and they gave us criterias for the GPMs on this new well. 8-inch was recommended, but because of the potential to connect an additional water source, staff recommended to upsize it to 12.
Yeah, the
So not that it-
transmission line
Transmission
is
line.
12, yeah.
Yeah. So not that it cannot handle what we're producing now, it's just bringing in another source.
No, I understand that, but I was saying, once it hits the tanks, I assume it's going over to Sheep Creek Road?
Yeah.
And then it goes dispersed, and is it basically gonna go into the sea lane?
How we have it now, it does go over to the sea lane, so it heads east and then up.
So east and
It
up?
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So that means that there's less of a demand from the west side wells to move to the east.
Yeah, we do have that summer valving program where we have that line that runs down Palmdale Road to the east. So during the summer, we adjust the valving to push water in that direction. We've kind of not done that in the last few years, but this almost just eliminates that option,
Yeah, yeah.
is to do that summer valving, is what we call it.
So really, the excess water or the additional water that we're putting into the system is gonna go up the east side, so a tank up at the top of the east side probably would be
Well,
appropriate, or
there-
somewhere along there.
Yeah, so there was discussion on a storage, adding storage for these wells. You know, the site at Sheep Creek could not accommodate the tank that we're looking for. So, you know, that's always part of our planning, is future acquisitions of property to add another storage tank. But it's not in our planning as of yet, until we look at another site when it becomes more
No,
reality.
but another 500, 600 gallons a minute is probably, you're gonna have to have
It would be nice.
something to move that water.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
some type of
Storage is,
storage and booster. So if you're gonna look at boosters and you're gonna upgrade them
Yeah.
with that in mind, because there'll be a lot more water available.
Yeah, that's been our planning. That 1.5 that we have proposed for 6A is going to help a lot with storage. That was part of our deficiency, was storage. But with that, to our 14 million capacity, it adds to storage for the district, but adding storage for the new wells over on the east side or down slope, well, not upslope from those wells, the proposed wells, is what we'd like to see. So we always discuss that when we get into the water master plan for
Yeah.
future planning.
Okay. Well, number 17.
Well 17 is completed. We are waiting for a few sample results for the operating permit. The SCADA panel on that well also is scheduled for installation later this month.
So it's the same position as number 15 then?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Future well number 18, I think we discussed a little bit, but do you have anything further to add?
No updates, no additional updates.
And,
But just that we are looking at property that's available. You know, we also look at power that,
yeah,
you know, so infrastructure and the infrastructure that we would have to pay to put in to get power to the new location. That's part of our planning, is to find that location, so. If you go further north, I mean, you're out in barren land. So
I know,
it's-
there's
it's
nothing but
tricky.
giant power lines out there.
Yes.
That's it.
So it's tricky, but yeah, we did dive into a little bit about where we want to place this new well and what's feasible to get that power out there.
Okay, anything? Tank 6A, I think we talked about that.
Yeah, just an
It's in the
update.
budget here.
It is, we spoke with Tom Dodson, who's preparing the CEQA document to bring it to a NEPA status, which is not going to be a problem, and that's going to help with the HUD funding. Not the FEMA, but the HUD.
The hood.
The hood. The geotechnical, we're reaching out to some consultants to prepare the geotechnical for the 1.5 million gallon tank, and also reaching out proposals for engineering design. So we're working hand in hand with that. So we're kind of far ahead in the planning of it, so might as well get started now.
What color is it going to be?
What color do you like?
Something that disappears?
Desert sand.
Pale green?
Pale.
Go
Oh,
away
yeah.
green, yeah, something.
Yeah.
Well, something that the high school can write the numbers on. Because that'll be in the way of the tank that they're using now, so,
It would be, yes. Big tank,
yeah,
a lot of paint,
a lot of paint.
a lot of paint.
Okay, number 10, staff reports. Anything further than what's in the packet?
That's all in the packet unless you have any additional questions.
No, I didn't have anything. Did you have any additional?
No, thank you.
Did our massive public crowd have any questions?
I don't think so.
Review of action items, prior meeting, a West Day production number, well, that's for later. Current meeting, we don't have any
We're
action
just
items.
gonna update the CIP.
Oh, you're gonna update the
Yep.
CIP. Setting agenda for next meeting, which is
February 6th at 4:30 PM.
January 17th is crossed out.
Yeah, February 6th, which is a Tuesday,
At 4 PM?
4:30 PM.
4:30.
And that's just gonna be a special meeting primarily to go over the repair and maintenance plan
And the changes?
and the changes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think we can just leave the agenda as is then. I don't think we need to change anything right now. Anything else?
I have nothing to add,
I
Chris.
have nothing.
Okay. With that, we will close the meeting at adjourn the meeting at 5:09. Thank you for everybody for your help.